what did you make of the rotation in attacking areas? Now, we saw Madueke come in for Saka. Now, it's always a tough one with Saka because we all say that he plays way too many minutes, but you need him. He's that important. And also Martinelli on the other side after the hat-trick. That kind of made sense against Portsmouth. What did you make of the rotation in the forward areas?
I didn't think it was Arteta's best day, I've got to be honest. I mean, we all rate Mikel Arteta. He's a phenomenal manager, but we all have days where we're maybe not quite at it. And I think in terms of his selection, he did get it wrong. If you're going to rest Saka, rest him for Inter Milan, a game that Arsenal don't need to win. That would be my opinion. I think he was our best player when he came on. Martinelli, I don't think it was ever going to be his game because Forest were always going to drop quite deep. It was up against Aina, who's a quick player. So there was never going to be a lot of space for him, even though he should have scored. I mean, that was an open goal, wasn't it? That was the big moment.
Got to come off his heel.
Yeah, that was a poor finish. And then the subs. I also didn't love Timber at left-back again. I thought it was the right selection at Chelsea, but I felt, did we have to do that there? But Miles Lewis-Skelly is in poor form, so maybe I can understand that. And I just looked at the subs as well, and I thought, Jesus ahead of Havertz, that surprised me. I thought Havertz needs minutes, and Jesus had a few opportunities now, hasn't he, where he hasn't really done anything off the bench. So, there's just a few things that didn't go away. But I'll go back to it. Martinelli scores, or Marino scores, or Sales doesn't produce that save of the season contender from Saka. We win it 2-0, and everyone's saying Arsenal are unstoppable. That's the fine margins, right?
But that's the thing. It's easy in hindsight after the game. When you look at the back four and you see the back four of White, Saliba, Gabriel and Timber, you look at that, you go, that's a strong back four. I'll say, because, again, Arteta's more on we ain't conceding, and which we're not. Do you know what I mean? We just said there that you're going away from home and your goalkeeper hasn't a save to make. I think Ray had one in the first half, didn't he, where he's a sweeper keeper where he come off his line and he slid in and cleared it. So we just looked. It's not a nervy away performance. Do you know what I mean? You just see you looking sharp. But the other thing, I disagree slightly a little bit with Clarke. I think Arteta now is making substitutions a lot earlier than what he's ever done. He's going, look at now, I'm going to make substitutions to go and try and win the game rather than, all right, we're going to try and hold it at 0-0. Do you know what I mean? Even at Aston Villa, where we got back to 1-1, he made substitutions. Right, we're going to go and try and win this now. So I think he's changed his mindset on that one.
I agree.
On the Saka one, well, no, we'll talk about Inter Milan later on. I sort of get it, but then when we're struggling a little bit, I'd still put my Madueke over on the left-hand side, because obviously naturally left-footed gives you that bit more width, and then have Saka on the right-hand side, because Madueke is very good in his 1v1s, and he was the one in the first half who actually looked like he was going to do something. But what we do, we're at a level now is we're dissecting it to the nth degree. Do you know what I mean? You would never believe, even while we're talking, you never believe we're flying at the top of the Premier League and flying at the top of the Champions League, because I think it's the desperation of Arsenal fans, which we all are. We realise that this could be a very big season, and this is now coming into what Sir Alex Ferguson always said is squeaky bum time. You know, when you get to the end of January, February, but our destiny's in our own hands. That's it.
We just want it to click, don't we?
We've got levels to go up yet. We haven't hit I don't think. Bayern Munich in the second half, where I thought we were outstanding against a very good Bayern Munich team. That's the level for that second half where I think we can get to sort of more often, where it's a bit, in games it's a bit sporadic, isn't it? But we haven't hit that consistency yet.
What about Gyökeres? Now, listen, me playing...
I was going to ask you the same question, what are you asking me in for? You're the
10 touches, and I feel for him because you can quite clearly see he's trying hard to score goals. Sometimes he doesn't always have himself in the right areas, I think, to score goals. There's not a connection yet between him and Saka, him and the wide player. If I was in his position, I'd still want to play every single game because you want to score goals. But at the minute, at times, it does look like Arsenal playing with 10 men. I mean, 10 touches in 57 minutes isn't good enough. No. What's the answer there? What do you do?
Well, do you think he's making the right runs?
Do you know what? I think if he's not going to link play, which he's not comfortable with doing, then I think anything that comes in and around the 6-yard box, he has to be there. There's no excuses. And he's not doing that. No. Like, I think the one, was it Chelsea potentially? There's been a couple in the last couple of games where Liverpool was a classic one actually, and he just wasn't there. I think if you're going to, certainly when I played, managers would forgive me for not linking play because they knew I'd be in and around the 6-yard box, tapping them in. If he's not going to do either of those things, then that's where my worry is. And if it looks to me like he's starting to lose belief in what got him to the move in the first place.
You know what? I think he's tense. I think when I'm watching him play, he's not playing free. You know, better than me. I used to play up front, and I'm not a centre forward with Dan Silver. And if the crowd's on you a little bit, I don't care what anybody says, it affects you.
Yeah.
I don't believe any player.
He's not playing free.
He's not free because I think he's tensing himself.
Yeah.
So he's not playing free, and because at the minute, and you can tell that all the other players want him to do well because you hear good reports about him in training and his character, and you saw obviously against Chelsea, like celebrations, you know, when he scored, everybody jumps with him. But because he's not playing freely and not playing well, he hasn't got the authority to say to Declan Rice or Odegaard, whatever, when you get it in the, because he wants to be in the channels. Get him in the channels, or to say to Saka, or if it's Trossard, whatever, do us a favour, get it in the box. He hasn't quite got, you know, when you was flying, right? You'd be more demonstrative. You'd be lying to your wingers, oi, get the ball in the box. You'd be swearing at them, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Where because he's still trying to find his way, and he doesn't feel confident in himself, and you're looking at him, you're going, you're just tense. That's what it is.
Do you not think he's craving acceptance from his teammates? I think until you've had that moment where you've really made the difference in a big game. I mean, I know he scored against Chelsea, but I mean, we could probably all have scored that one.
No, but what Ben is saying is, he still had to be there.
No.
You've still got to be in between the posts.
No, exactly, and that was a big moment for him, and he didn't kick on. But I still think he knows that his teammates don't fully trust him yet. You just got to look at the service. Odegaard looks at him, game in, game out, and he doesn't play it. And Saka, even at Chelsea, in the move that led to his goal,
doesn't cross it.
All he's got to do is just put it right foot across the face of goal, and he turned it down. So, it's I feel for him, but I still think, well, who would you rather have up front at the moment? Would you rather have Jesus? For me, no.
Same as you.
And then you're looking at Havertz, who's been injured all season, and Marino, who we were all saying, well, he needs. That's not his position.
But do you know what the difficulty with that one as well is that if I'm Gyökeres and then he starts playing Marino ahead of me,
you're done.
You lose me totally.
Your confidence
I'm gone because you're thinking he doesn't naturally play there, and you're trusted in Marino, who has looked good by the way. Forward. So I quite like what Arteta's doing in terms of managing him, but at some point, Victor's got to stand up on his own 2 feet and go, do you know what? Am I doing enough to stay in this team?
I must admit, I thought after he took the penalty against Everton, which was a big penalty, by the way, because that you have to have cojones, number one, to take a penalty, and number two, to take it in the situation that he's in, because we all know if he misses that penalty, there's a massive pylon. So for Odegaard to give him it and for him to take it and score it, then you think, they're telling you that they trust you, like they did against Havertz when he scored against Bournemouth that time. Course, And then you're just looking at him, as Clarke said there, where he's gone from being Sporting Lisbon's main man, and everything was about him and for him, he's gone that it's another 2 levels up. So he's just scratching about, right? But again, because what happens is, because the neutrals are looking for something, so it's all on Gyökeres, and I saw an article about Richard Eze yesterday, and you're like, everybody just calm down a bit, because I don't care if Gyökeres gets 8 to 10 Premier League goals and we win the Premier League. I don't care. It's been a brilliant signing. And I had a conversation with Sam Matterface yesterday, and I referenced Didier Drogba. People forget when Chelsea won first the title in 2005 under Mourinho, he got 10 Premier League goals. Everybody forgets that, don't they? Everybody.
It's true.
And Sam said that Chelsea fans were doubting Didier Drogba because he had that reputation. He kept falling over all the time, didn't he? And weren't physical.
That soon changed.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, we know as ex-players, I know exactly how he's feeling because of the way that his body language is. And he's probably got to start being a little bit more demanding.
Yes, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like he was at Sporting because he was the main man.
Yeah, I know, I agree. And I think it's relationships as well. I think he's got to start, at some point, he's got to get to a point where he's got to go, Saka, I know how good you are, but I need this type of service. Trossard, if you cut back on your right foot, cross the ball in, because, again, me being a centre forward, there is nothing worse for a striker when you keep making your movements and the winger keeps chopping. Because you can never get that kind of chemistry, and then you end up running offside or the ball doesn't come in. So I think it will come. And as you said there, Perry, I think if he does get 8 to 10 goals, and Arsenal win the league, people forget about that.
Yeah.
But my
he's
worry is
already, by the way.
I mean,
in all comps, there's only Martinelli that's scored.
He's got
more.
9 in Martinelli, and
that's what I mean.
He's got 8, hasn't he?
Yeah. So like he's only one off being the leading scorer. So even though we're disappointed,
of course,
it's been far from disastrous. No. I think.
I agree, and hopefully I think it will come good if he's given the time to.
But also as well, what he gives you, probably more away from home, is he gives you a bit of mayhem. He gives you that little bit of an out, which when Reno plays up front, or Havertz, there isn't the threat in behind. No. And even though there's a few times that he doesn't get, but he's still that threat. So the centre-halves then can't squeeze this as much as they'd like to because they think, actually, there is the threat in behind. Do you know what I mean? So he's creating space for other players. But again, we're dissecting it to like the nth degree because of the levels that we know that he can go to. Do you know what I mean? So
when you look at the numbers and you go, like, you don't turn a bad player overnight. 54 goals in 52 games. I don't care what league you're playing in. That is prolific.
And his record in Champions League was good for Sporting Lisbon as well. Exactly. So, and you got now you got all the players coming back fit. So there's different options.
It'd be crazy to write off Gyökeres.
Yeah, I think so.
It's too soon.
And I agree with you. Because we're winning games as well. Can't leave him out.
No.
Because his confidence will drop.
Completely.
Completely. Exactly.